What's up, YouTube? I would say we are back, but really this is a first for me. We're going to hunt some quarters. Now, if you guys happen to catch my last $half hunt video, I would like to apologize because that was probably a waste of your time as well as mine for even making and posting that video. It was obviously a bunch of pre or repacked rolls and searched rolls, and it was pretty miserable. And sorry for putting you guys through that if you did watch any of that video. But I do appreciate you coming and checking my stuff out, so please do. Keep coming. If this is your first time on the channel, please like, please subscribe, leave me a comment. Love to hear from you. But to get down to the point of today's video, we're going to look at quarters. And I'll be honest, I have no idea what I'm looking for. So I'm going to pull up a sheet from probably like Rob Finds Treasure or one of those other really, really good YouTubers out there doing coin roll hunts as well. And this will be a learning experience maybe for all of us. So let's get this box open and see what it looks like on the inside. All I know is it will have to be more fun than my last coin roll hunt. All right, we got some rolls laying down here. Let's see. They are definitely circulated, which is a good thing. I mean, I've watched a few quarter roll hunt videos in the past, and I know when you get boxes that aren't circulated, that's not fun either, because then you have no chance at silver or find anything else. But let's see here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14, 16. All right, I don't know. You know what? I'm not even going to try to count these live on camera. I'm going to get these out of the box. I'm going to get them rolled over and make sure we got all $500 worth of these quarters. So give me a minute. Let's get organized and let's get into the hunt. Okay, well, we got these things unboxed. We got them rolled over. It looks like we do have a good mix of some of the older quarters and some of the newer stuff. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure what I'll be looking for just yet. I know like 99's a big year. I know we're looking for W's. I'll probably go through these pretty slowly and pull out a lot of stuff. We haven't started a quarter book, so I'll probably look for something nice for each year and start pulling those out. But I will bring you guys in when I find something, interesting to show you, and I'll stop periodically and do some recaps so we can keep track as we go. So let me crack into a few rolls, see what we have, and I'll bring you in when there's something interesting to see. So I just finished sorting through the first roll, and it probably took me 5 minutes because I'm trying to get my head around quarters because there's so many different varieties. I did get excited when I found two 2019s because I know they're W years for those, but I found a 2019 P and D. Not saying they're great finds yet because I'm not really sure. They just weren't W's. And what I've done to help keep me straight to learn these is I'm actually going to sort through every quarter and put them in a stack so I can start learning where they belong and which coins would in fact be something to pay attention to in the future. So like I said, one roll down, 49 to go. This is going to be way harder than doing $half. Let me get into roll number 2. So I know these aren't that big a deal, but in the second roll, I did get my first bicentennial quarter, which I understand those are a little harder to come by than in the $half. But thought I'd stop there and show you. I've got one. I understand that it's a pretty small percentage of the box I should find these. So anyway, again, not special, but first one I've ever found in a coin roll hunt. So thought I'd bring it up. So we are 5 rolls in, and I wanted to stop here. If you guys have never done this, this is sort of the distribution of coins that I have, starting with 65 right here, and then working through the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and then the teens. I just have a couple of holes. I don't think they made an 01 quarter, or I'm sorry, a 2011 quarter, but maybe they did. But I just got a couple of holes. Looks like 2001 to 2003 and 4 I'm missing. And then a couple of the 70s and one of the 80s I'm missing up there. So I think that's kind of interesting if you're curious about a distribution in a box of quarters. Again, I'm only 5 rolls in. I imagine I'll have to start cutting these down as I get further because these stacks are going to get pretty big pretty quick. But at the very least, I'm starting to get to know the designs on the backs of the newer coins and getting a greater appreciation for the simplicity of the older coins. Anyway, let me get into roll number 6. All right, well, we are successfully 10 rolls in. That's kind of an interesting look at the distribution there. Overwhelmingly, we have more 99s, 2000s, 2001s, 20 looks like 15s and 16s. So I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna go through and probably pull all the P's and the D's to maybe start a book and pull anything that looks like it might be an interesting variety. So I'm gonna take a break here. I'll be back later. We are 20 rolls in. I've gotten a lot better at this. It helps that I borrowed a pretty good list of what to look for off of a quarter hunting mat from eBay. So sorry, I stole something from somebody there. But so far what I've got is a bunch of just really nice rims on, if you remember from the beginning of my video, I was separating all the coins out into years. These were all, they just had really good rims. So if we start a quarter book, that's what those are. I haven't gone through them to see if I've got duplicates and whatnot, but of everything that was on there, that looked pretty good. This is all 2019s. I've gone through them. Again, there was no errors or variants in these. I just need to pick through to add to the stack over there. And then I have 1, 2, 3, looks like I have 6 bicentennials. So I'm just keeping track of those because they seem to be a lot more rare than in the half dollars. And then I have a bunch of stuff at the end of the video I'm gonna go through. I think I found a number of different variants and errors, and then a few that I just have questions about. So I'm gonna throw them under the scope at the end of the video and we'll take a look at them together. But so far this has been a fun hunt. It's been a lot different than doing half dollars. It's a lot more to look for. And it's a little bit slower because my eyes aren't what they used to be. So have the scope out. It helps a lot when looking at the little dates. But anyway, it's been a lot of fun. So I'm gonna keep going and do the next 10. Hopefully if I find something like some silver or something, I'll bring you in. So to show you how I'm going through these, that was actually roll, 31. This is roll 32. I've kind of been doing about 5 rolls at a time, just kind of opening them up and looking for silver or anything with a proof-like edge. And as I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not very good at quarter roll opening yet, so I'm struggling a little bit. But so what I'm trying to do is get them out, inspect the edges for anything that looks like it might be silver or proof. And if there's nothing in there, so like I've got, I don't know if that's gonna show up well on camera, but you know, I'll take a look at that quickly as I open the rolls. It's a 2018 and I'll put that aside. But if there's no silver, or if it doesn't look like it might be a proof, I'm just kind of setting it up and then going through about 5 rolls at a go, looking for errors and variants, because I don't really expect to find any silver, and I'd rather get a bunch out and go through them all at once than very slowly going through roll at a time. So I'll open one more roll with you and then I'll go off camera and search for errors and things. So as you can see here, some nice edges, probably some 2018s and 2019s in there, but no silver. So like I said, I'll bring in, hopefully I'll find a W here, and if I do that, I'll definitely bring you in mid-roll or mid-sorting. But until then, I will do another recap in the next probably 5 to 10 rolls. All right, everybody, I'm gonna bring you in here. I've cheated a little bit because I was going through these like I said I would, and I got one really shiny edge, and I didn't think anything of it because I've gotten a lot of 2019s that look like this. This is a 2014 S. Now it is a clad, so I believe that means it's from a proof set that's probably been cracked open. It is obviously not silver, but that is a 20. See if I can you guys see that? It's a beautiful coin, but I would consider that my first, well, it's definitely not my first find, but it's my, you know, the first sort of thing we typically look for, which would be proofs and silvers and whatnot. I've got a bunch of coins I'm excited to show you guys here at the end because I think I've got a number of errors and varieties, but this is the first sort of real find for me. It's a proof. First proof quarter and quarter box hunting for me. So pretty excited about that. Okay, we are down to roll of 50, and then we are going to recap what I've pulled aside. And then we're gonna go over to the computer and have a look under the scope at some stuff that I believe falls into the errors or variance category. And I'd love your opinion on it. So we'll get there in just a minute. So what do we have here to look at? Well, all of those, can we get those in frame? Let's see here, are bicentennials. I've done a quick look. I know the bicentennial has like a repunch mint mark. I think there might even be like a DDO on it. I've given it a quick look and I didn't see any of that, but I'll go back again. We won't put any of these under the scope for this video, but there's 5, 10. So we had 13 bicentennials. Now in a $50 box, I mean, you probably get 3 rolls of bicentennials. So the quarters tend to produce a lot less. These are all 2019s. Let me make sure I don't have another little batch of these over here. So actually all of these were 2019s, and there's probably, I don't know, that's $1's worth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had about $9 worth of 2019s. Again, I've looked at these for the Washington earring, for W's, and I didn't have anything. But they're all in really good shape, so I'll probably go through and find the best P and D of each one of those and put those aside. And then I still have, you know, these are just random year coins that I pulled aside that just looked really good. So if I end up starting a book, we'll have those for a book. And if I don't, I'll just throw them back in the bin and they'll go to the bank. The one find you saw earlier, it is this 2014 S. Looks like Shenandoah for Virginia. That would be one of the real finds in here. So it's a proof coin, not a silver. You can look at the reeds on the side of the edge. It is clad. I wish it was a silver, but it is not. And the last thing we're going to jump into, and I don't think all of these are errors. Many of them are. One that I have a lot of questions on, and I'm going to look at a video before I bring you guys in. That's actually a really bad one. But this Alaska one with the 6th claw. I have a lot of these with the extra metal in them, and we're going to look at a few. I have a few traditional coins, you know, older quarters that I think are going to be interesting to look at. But the rest of them are going to be state quarters. I think I have like 3 or 4 of the older quarters that I think might have some errors on them, or DDOs. So let me get set up. Actually, let me look at a video of this Alaska variant first, or error first, to make sure I know what I'm looking for. And we'll zoom in on a few of these, get your opinion, and we'll close out the video from there. But this has been a fun one. I think that quarters have been, it's been a nice change of pace, but it takes a very, very long time. Anyway, so let's jump over to the computer. Okay, so we are now over on the computer with the scope, and I've got a bunch of coins I want to show you that I found going through this box. We're going to start with the 2008 Alaska. I've actually got 9 of these in varying condition. None of them are superb, but many of them are quite good. And it's the 2008 Alaska Philadelphia extra claw, I guess, error. This one's probably the most pronounced. It's got the most amount of extra metal. You can see here, sort of between the 3rd and 4th and 4th and 5th claw. Looking on YouTube, it's tough to find anybody with definitive evidence on what they call the 5th claw error. A lot of the stuff I saw, it's basically just if there's some extra metal in there, it's considered an extra claw sort of error or variant. So this is the first one. I'm just going to show you all these really quickly just so you guys can see them. Here's the second one. I found a bunch of these. Not as pronounced, but as you can see, there's extra metal in here. I did have a number of these that when I looked at it under the scope, they had perfectly
done 5 claws. There was no extra metal. So, you know, if this is enough, then I actually found a bunch of these. I think about 9 of them, I think I said. So that's the third one. Here is the fourth one. As you can see, there it is, right there. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments if there's any of these that you think just absolutely wouldn't qualify, or maybe I'm getting bad information. I'd love to hear about it. Here's the fifth one, less pronounced, but there's just a little bit of metal connecting these two claws. That was the fifth one. This is probably the best overall condition quarter I have of the bunch. Here it is again. A little extra piece of metal in there. So that was number 6. Here's number 7. There it is again. A little piece of metal. Here's number 8. A little bit bigger hunk of metal in here, and again, I don't know if that's the same thing. A lot of them have that little tiny extra claw piece in there. This has just a big glob, much like the first one I showed you. And then the last one here that I got in the bunch, and there it is again, that little piece of extra metal. All right, so from there I have another 2008. I thought I had 2 of them. Yeah, I do. I do have 2 of them. This is a Philadelphia 2008 Arizona, and it's the extra cactus variant. So this little sort of extra piece of metal here, this blob that's going over the initials, is not supposed to be there. I did not keep a clean one on there, but of all the ones I checked, most of them you could very clearly see this a full arc here and the letters JIM or J, I think that's JIM. But the variant has this extra little whatever that, I think they're calling it the extra cactus variant. So that was one of them, and here is my second one. And this one you can see a little bit more of the letters, but again, it's still covering them. I wish I had kept a clean version of it for you to see. But I found 2 of these, which I think is pretty cool. Let's see here. Moving on. This is, I don't know if this is a DDO or not. This is a Philadelphia. It's in horrible condition. 2015 Nebraska. And I believe this one has the doubling. I think this is a DDR. You can see here in the window. Most of the coins that I have, that I looked at, all of these windows were very clean, top and bottom. But this one has doubling on this window here. And I don't know if that's the exact location for the DDO, but it appears to be there. And if you look here on the words Nebraska, you can see some light doubling along the bottoms of all the letters. So, love to hear from you guys. If this is considered a proper DDO on this coin, let me know in the comments. I just happen to believe it is. I could be wrong though. Let's move on to, let's see, this is the 2005 Kansas. So this one has a bunch of errors. There's one where there's an error on the hump. I don't believe this is one. And there's an error where it looks like he's spitting. This is not one of those. This is the "In God We Rust" error. So the T's still there. It's light. When you look at it under the naked eye, it definitely looks like "In God We Rust." Under the scope, the T's more pronounced, but you can see it's far less pronounced than the rest of the lettering. So this might qualify for the "In God We Rust" variant or variety, but I thought it was kind of neat, so I kept it aside. We have a couple more varieties that I did find in the older coinage that I wanted to show you, and I'm not sure, again, I'm not an expert on quarters, it's my first box, but the 1983 P has a spitting It has a spitting eagle variety, and the coin's not in great shape. I mean, you can see it under the scope. It's pretty beat up. But, you know, it's not horrible, I guess. But the spitting eagle, I'm not sure it qualifies, but of all the 83s I looked at, it was the closest. So if I put it here, you'll see coming off the beak, we've got a little bit of spit. It does look like it kind of continues down into the metal, but that just could be wear on the coin, or I'm not sure. But it looked pretty close to some of the examples I've seen online. If you have an opinion, I'd love to hear. It's in such bad condition, though, I'm not sure it's really worth anything. I just thought it was a neat find. What do we have next? The 1967, I think this one was the DDR, so here, I'll just show you in here. This is a 1967. If we flip it over here, and this isn't, I don't believe, a true DDR. If it's the one I'm thinking of, hang on. Is it this one? Let me see, where did it go? I know it was one of them. Maybe it was on the front. Yes, this is actually on the front. So this was the 1967 DDO. And if we look here, in the N, in the T, in the R, a little bit in the S here, the U just a little bit. I don't believe I see much in the Liberty, if I recall the first time I looked at this. I've seen a number of these that have just a little bit of a shelf here in the E and the R, but it's not real pronounced across the rest of the word Liberty. Again, I don't think this is a great example, but it had enough markers that I thought it might qualify as a DDO. Again, you know, love to hear from you. If you've made it this far in the video, let me know what you think. And then I have a 1971, and the 71 was the DDR, so I was mistaken from before. And I believe this is more of a machine error. So just to show you up front, there's the 1971. It's the 71D. So if we flip it over, it was mainly down here in the word quarter, and it looks more like a machine error than a DDR, but you can see here around the Q, lightly on the U, a little bit here on the R. As we make our way around, it's less pronounced anywhere else. I don't believe there was any up here in the E pluribus unum or the United States markers. But I thought it was interesting that at the very least it was a machine error here back on the word quarter. So what are your thoughts? DDO, machine error? Just curious. None of these older coins are in great condition. None of them are mint state or anything like that. They're pretty beat up, but they were still kind of neat to find. To wrap up, and I've probably said this already, doing quarters was a lot different than halves. I thought it was a lot of fun. A lot different things to look for. So I was quite pleased with it. I don't know how often I'm going to hunt quarters, but it was definitely a different experience. So thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.